It's year 1480. The smell of sulfur clings to the air. Dusty books lie open on creaking oak desks. A raven perches silently on the windowsill, watching, waiting, and beneath a stone tower, hidden from the eyes of kings and clergy alike, you're hunched over a bubbling glass flask, searching for gold, or perhaps something greater. You are an alchemist, not quite a magician, not quite a scientist. You dwell in shadows, between knowledge and myth, faith and hearsay. Some call you wise, some call you mad. And tonight, your search for the Philosopher's Stone continues. Welcome to Midnight Mind. Let us walk through the fog of time and uncover what it was like to be an alchemist in 1480. Chapter 1. The World You Inherit. In 1480, the world is changing. Europe is waking from the long slumber of the Middle Ages. Printing presses whisper knowledge across cities. Columbus is preparing to sail west. But you look inward. You were born into a world still ruled by superstition. The church watches every thought. Astrology is science. Magic is hearsay. And yet, alchemy is tolerated. For now. To the world, alchemists promise miracles, curing the plague, creating gold, summoning spirits. But to you, alchemy is a sacred path, a way of transforming the self as much as the world. You inherit scrolls copied by monks, Arabic texts smuggled through Moorish Spain, Greek fragments translated by candlelight, and among them the emerald tablet. Reads in soft voice. That which is below is like that which is above. You believe alchemy is divine, that the soul of lead longs to be gold, just as man longs to be godlike. Chapter 2. Your Laboratory. Your laboratory is a place of secrets, hidden beneath a chapel, behind a butcher shop, or tucked into a forest cave. No windows, thick stone walls, a single door to keep out the curious or the dangerous. You have no modern instruments, no goggles, no gloves, no electricity, just fire, bellows, mortars, and pestles, coals and copper plates, and strange symbols drawn in chalk on the floor. You work beside furnaces and baths, heating, distilling, dissolving, watching. Sulfur, mercury, salt, the holy trinity of alchemy, each representing a cosmic force, soul, spirit, body. And at the center of your quest, the magnum opus, the great work, a process not just of chemicals, but of transformation, calcination, dissolution, separation, conjugation, fermentation, distillation, coagulation. A sacred cycle, a mirror of death and rebirth. Chapter 3. Your work and experiments. Today, your experiment begins at dawn. You grind cinnabar to powder, mercury sulfide. You heat it slowly in an alembic flask, sealed with beeswax. The vapors rise, condense, drip down again. You adjust the flame with trembling fingers. It must be slow. Too hot and the spirit escapes. Too cold and nothing happens. You whisper a prayer to Hermes Trismegistus, the patron of hidden knowledge. All day you work in silence, watching the colors change: black, white, yellow, then red. These are not just reactions, these are omens, steps on the path to the stone. You record everything in a cipher of your own creation to keep the church ignorant, to keep rivals blind. Lead becomes ash, ash becomes oil, oil becomes crystal. But you're not chasing riches, you're seeking the philosopher's stone, a substance that can transform metal into gold and heal all wounds and grant eternal life, or so you believe. Chapter 4: The Alchemist's Daily Life. The sun rises, but you've already been awake for hours. Alchemists live outside the rhythms of ordinary life. Your sleep is broken, your meals irregular. You eat when the fire cools, not when you're hungry. Your fingers are always stained, ash under the nails, sulfur in the cuticles. You smell faintly of metal, smoke, and beeswax. You rarely leave your chamber. The outside world feels loud, stupid. The villagers call you the Black Monk. They say your chimney breathes even when the moon is high. That your cat is a demon in disguise. And perhaps they are not wrong. Your life is marked by isolation. You write to no one. You trust even fewer. But sometimes someone knocks at your door. A nobleman, a bishop, a scholar in hooded robes. They do not say your name. They do not meet your eyes. They ask, whisperingly, about gold, about longevity, about love spells. And you always listen because you need money, because sometimes they bring books, because knowledge hides in strange places. So you offer them something small, a vial of powder, an elixir of saffron and honey. Nothing dangerous, nothing real. They leave satisfied, and you return to your work, feeling like a priest who just sold communion wine to a thief. Chapter 5: Patrons, Power, and Pressure. In 1480, the only way to survive as an alchemist is through patronage. Men of power want miracles. They want gold, glory, immortality, and they want it yesterday. You're summoned by barons and dukes, fed roasted meats you can't digest, questioned by men who don't understand words like sublimation or quintessence. And when you explain it's not so simple, their eyes harden. You have months, maybe weeks, to show progress. If not, you'll be replaced. Hours. But occasionally, a patron truly listens. A scholar lord, a mystic countess, someone who believes as you do that the world is a veil and behind it lies the divine. With such allies, your work deepens. You're given a larger furnace, a real library, access to inks from Venice, copper from Saxony, incense from Jerusalem. And for a while, your great work advances. But every flame comes with a shadow. Your patron may face a scandal, a coup, a papal edict, and suddenly you're once again alone. Alchemists do not trust fortune. She spins too quickly. That is why you trust the flask, the fire, the elements. They may be slow, but they do not lie. Chapter 6. The Philosopher's Stone. Let us speak of it now, the heart of your obsession, the Philosopher's Stone. In your books, it goes by many names. The red tincture, the powder of projection, the elixir of life, the fifth essence. It is said to transmute base metals into noble ones, lead into gold, copper into silver. But its powers are greater than wealth. It heals disease, restores youth, elevates the soul. It is the mirror of perfection, the final step of the magnum opus, the great work. But what is it? Some say it is a red crystal no larger than a walnut. Others say it is a golden oil, a stone that isn't a stone at all. Some say it is not material, but spiritual, an awakening of divine understanding, a rebirth of the soul through suffering and purification. And so you pursue it through two paths. The outer path, through fire, salts, metals, and stars. The inner path, through fasting, prayer, dreams, and silence. You keep a journal, locked, coded. You track each symbol, each vision. You dream of red lions and green dragons. of men with wings and mouths of fire. You believe these dreams are instructions, that the soul of the world speaks in metaphor. You write, the stone is not made, but revealed, not discovered, but remembered. It is already within us, but sealed by the lead of flesh. And in that truth, you're both closer than ever and infinitely far away. Chapter 7, The Church, Suspicion and Hearsay. You walk carefully. Alchemy in 1480 is a tightrope walk over fire. The church tolerates you, for now, but only because they believe your work might serve God. Because your language borrows from the saints. Because your diagrams mimic Christian symbolism. But one wrong metaphor and it becomes hearsay. A wrong symbol, a wrong phrase, the wrong person reading the wrong page, and suddenly you are a servant of demons. You've heard the stories. An alchemist in Lyon burned for invoking spirits. A herbalist in Avignon hung for making gold without God's permission. A student in Cologne wept for drawing a pentagram. So you hide your truest thoughts. You speak in riddles, write in symbols, conceal your manuscripts in hollow walls and buried urns. You cross yourself when you say transmutation. You quote the Bible when referencing rebirth. You nod politely when a bishop tells you alchemy must serve God's will. But privately, you believe something more dangerous. You believe the divine is not just above, it is within. You believe God lives in copper and salt as surely as in scripture. And that is a belief some would kill to extinguish. Chapter 8, Mysticism and the Inner Work. You begin to notice a shift in yourself. Your work with metals now feels like a metaphor. Each stage of magnum opus begins to mirror your own journey. Calcination, the burning of ego. You feel your pride dissolving day by day. No longer you're chasing fame. You simply want to know. Dissolution, the breaking of form. You spend days in silence, in darkness. Old fears rise like smoke. You write them down. Separation, the sorting of truth from illusion. You reread your old texts with new eyes. Somewhere lies, somewhere glimpses. You begin to see the thread that runs through them all. Conjunction, the merging of opposites. You begin to dream of sacred marriages, of sun and moon, king and queen, body and soul. Fermentation, the birth of spirit. You wake one night in tears, not from sorrow, from awe. Something is changing, not in the flask, in you. The voices of old masters echo in your mind. What we seek is not gold, but understanding. The stone purifies the soul before it perfects the metal. To transmute the world, we must first transmute ourselves. You begin each day with a prayer, not to a deity, but to the eternal flame within. You light the furnace and whisper, as above, so below, as within, so without. And for a moment, you feel yourself glowing, like the red tincture you seek. Chapter 9. The Failure. Failure is the most familiar taste in your mouth. You spend the past 11 days refining a new process, using a mineral from the Black Forest, firing it through a triple distillation under a full moon. Everything was perfect. The temperature, the alignment, even the raven outside went silent, as if watching. You added the final drop. The liquid turned violet, just as the text described. You held your breath, waited, and then crack. The glass flask burst in two. A hiss of vapor, a smell like burning feathers. The liquid turned black, then evaporated. You screamed once, then sat down, hands trembling, eyes wide, heart numb. The entire cycle is ruined. You've lost a month, maybe more. You tear the page from your journal, burn it, start over, but in the ashes, you find something unexpected. A silver of red residue, just enough to make you wonder, was it working? You'll never know, and yet, you begin again. Because this is what it means to be an alchemist. To fail, to begin again, to refine, to surrender, to burn away everything that is not true, again and again, until only the gold remains. Chapter 10. The Alchemist's Legacy. You're older now. Your hands shake when you grind cinnabar. Your knees ache when you kneel to stroke the fire. The long nights weigh heavier, but the fire still calls. You no longer chase gold. You chase harmony. You've seen others fall away. Young alchemists who burned out, went mad or vanished. Some accused of sorcery, some simply consumed by obsession. But you remained. You refined your techniques, developed your own symbols, wrote your own treatise under false names, of course. You filled 7 journals, each coded in multiple layers, not to show off, but to protect. Because you know this knowledge is dangerous in the wrong hands. and sacred in the right ones. You remember when a young boy came to your door, thin, bright-eyed, full of questions. You taught him how to distill rosemary, how to test for real silver. He cried the day he left. He called you Master. Now you hear rumors he works in a university. They say he no longer calls himself an alchemist, but a natural philosopher. You smile. Let the world change. You know what you are, and one day, perhaps, they will understand. Chapter 11. Death of the Alchemist. The end comes not with drama, but with silence. A cold morning, a weak flame, a lab full of half-finished work. You feel it, the great cycle turning once more. You sit by the furnace, wrapped in a wool cloak. The red tincture still glows softly in its veil. You think of everything, the failures, the nights lost in prayer, the visions, the pain, the knowing. You do not regret. You write one final passage in your journal. I die as I lived, not knowing, but seeking. The stone is not an object. It is a mirror. And what we see in it is who we truly are. You seal the books, place them in the copper box, hide it behind the floorboards, and then you close your eyes. The fire burns on. Chapter 11. What remains? The years pass. Your home is abandoned, your name forgotten. The villagers say the place is haunted. But one day, a wandering student breaks in, seeking shelter. He finds your journals. He does not understand them, but something stirs within him. He copies your symbols. He sketches your diagrams. He shares them. They spread. Centuries pass. The world changes. Newton studies alchemy in secret. Carl Jung calls the alchemists the earliest psychologists. Your work has become foundation. What was once dismissed as madness is now remembered as the beginning of science. They still don't fully understand you, but they know this much. You were chasing gold. You were chasing truth. And in your silence, you whispered the future into flame. The fire is out. The glass vessels are cold. The stone walls are silent. But your spirit, your work has not ended. In quiet libraries, dusty scrolls still bear your symbols. In university vaults, your diagrams lie forgotten, waiting. In the dreams of certain seekers, your voice still murmurs. Solve et coagula. Dissolve, then recombine. What you left behind is not proof, not gold, but possibility. Alchemy survived not through glory, but through myth, through stories passed from master to apprentice, from whisper to page. And in time, people began to wonder, what if the alchemists were right? What if every element holds a secret? What if every soul hides a higher version of itself? What if the world is still becoming? The world has changed. We fly in machines of metal and fire. We split atoms. We explore distant planets. We edit DNA. We no longer seek the philosopher's stone in glass flasks. We seek it in labs, in code, in meditation. But the questions remain the same. What is the true nature of matter? Can the soul be purified? Is there more to life than what we see? And maybe, just maybe, the alchemists weren't wrong. They were just early. They saw what we are only beginning to remember, that everything is connected, that transformation is sacred, that the deepest secrets are not found in gold, but in the fire that refines us. Now close your eyes, take a slow breath, and imagine you are there again. In a quiet stone room, the scent of incense in the air, a candle flickering beside you, your hands hover over a glowing crystal, your heart steady, your mind silent. You hear the hum of the furnace, the crackle of transformation. You have no need to rush. There is no deadline, no failure, only the work. You are both the seeker and the stone. You are the flame and the metal it purifies. You are dissolving, you are becoming. And as your breath deepens, the lead of the day burns away, leaving behind something golden. Sleep now, alchemist. Your work continues. But for tonight, you rest.